we on in the West Coast. How the West was won, probably cause we got the best smoke. Smoking like a train, make her hold it in her chest though. Not talking coke when I say she had the best blow. Ha, head show, lips glow when the lights go. Running through the streets with the product on grind mode. Trying to make more than what I spend, the vicious psycho. Thoughts running through my head, not trying to act psycho. Might go, bitch, don't call me by my government. She let me tax it all day and I ain't with the government. Rihanna type of chick, yeah, she likes to use chains and whips. Said we needed more, so she went and got another bitch. Dig a ditch for a snitch in case they run their lips. Put you underground over railroads, Harriet. Fuck living once, we live every day. Cherish it. Shit like this is how the West was won, you never noticed it. Ha, yeah, we got it.
This shit right here.
How the West was won. Yeah, we got it.
This shit right here.
How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. West was won. Never stop when it comes to this music shit. Keep a Dodger fitted on a good day. I got two of them. I lay above the brim, blowing kush smoke in the wind. All about my money, don't get between me and it. 100 on the freeway just to catch a case. Fast lane, beat the dick up with her face. High heels stay, all her clothes go to waste. Big hips, thick thighs, tattoos below the waist. Fireplace to your face from the words I say. No extinguisher can put out this type of flame. Burn your ass to the bone, leave no remains. Double cup, thuggin', sipping potent, smoking propane. Motivated to the game, no Cali Wayne. Leave them girls walking funny like an ankle sprain. De Niro got a kung fu grip on the game. My lyrics, my beats, and producing, bitch, I do everything. Yeah, we got it.
This shit right here.
How the West was won. Yeah, we got it.
This shit right here.
How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. How the West was won. Yeah, we got it. How the West was won. Yeah, we got the West was won.
This shit right here. This shit right here. This shit right here. This shit right here.
Ha. De Niro, yeah. Rolling to the club, got the bass on bump. Step up out the front, 28th on the truck. Smoke coming out, cause you know we high as fuck. And we stay coming here, cause these girls can't get enough of us. Walk in here and whisper rain. Her body all looking glittery. Strobe light stain, flicker rain. Baby, let me see you do your thing. The way you moving on the pole. Offer some change, here you go. Going up and down real slow. Then you take it to the roof and drop it down to the floor. Ha. No pat downs at the dough. You making it rain while we making it snow. Double cup thugs in a room full of hoes. Tony Montana got stacks that you can't fold. Ha.
Let's get it poppin' like some chicken in a skillet. Been gone for 7 days, yeah, my vision got no vision. All up in the strip club, booty, make me kiss it. Put it in my face, best believe I'm gon' lick it. Little smurf stupid, just might kick it. Kicked out the club, next night back in it. Beat the pussy up with no repetition. These bitches say it hurt, well these bitches don't listen. I forgot to mention that these niggas don't listen. Seen them in the club, hugged up, all kissing. Now he got some shit up on his lip that I can't mention. Nigga try to hit my blood, well fuck that nigga. I'm a khaki white tee, Chuck Taylor nigga. Rag on my left, Snoop Dogg type figure. Pistol on my belt, bitches melt when they see it. Make the pussy weak, paraplegic.
Double cup thugs in the club, let me see you. All up on the pole, so you know, let me see you. Double cup thugs in the club, let me see you. All up on the pole, so you know, let me see you. Let me see you, let me see you. Let me see you, let me see you. Let me see you, let me see you. Baby, let me see you do your thing. Double cup the club, now everybody feeling tipsy. Two bad bitches and I got them both kissing. Pass one to Smurf, now that motherfucker missing. Bitches getting better like the fifth of competition. Started as a vision, but I made it a reality. Hung like a horse, so these bitches wanna saddle me. Throw you in the deep, motherfucker, start paddling. Sugar cane sweet, so these bitches need to have a G. Blasphemy when I'm on a mic, boy, it's murder. Smoking on some shit that you probably never heard of. 2 blunts, 2 cups, yeah, I'm on a sherbet. Beat the pussy down, so I leave that ass turned up. Worked up, hurt guts, that's what I do to hoes. Love them short ones, have to kiss me on their tippy toes. Slow mo from the drone, let you know I'm in the zone. Baby, let me see you do your thing while you on the pole.
Yo, what is up? What is up? What is up, Raider Nation? YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. I don't even know where this stuff goes out anymore. You already know what it is. CT De Niro, RealMen R Raiders Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in, showing up for another late show. I appreciate y'all. Man, we got a lot to talk about. I'm kind of glad I waited a little bit. You know, I got a lot to talk about. A lot of stuff happened. Shout out to everybody who's pulled up already. Tony, what is up, Tony? Salute to you. John Leon, salute, fam. I appreciate you guys for showing up. On 6, my brother, man, I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys already know a lot of stuff has happened. AP, it's official. He's finally the head coach. And it took longer than I think a lot of us really expected, but, you know, it got done. I think we're all, most of the nation is pretty happy. I got some arguments a little bit later about why I think he might have been a better choice than Harbaugh. Also got, you know, news of Tom Telesco. He's been announced the GM, you know, so a lot of things I liked. I'm going to touch on the press conference a little bit. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been here, about 2 weeks, you know, so I appreciate everybody who's, you know, tapping in, tuning in. For real, man, I appreciate you guys. You know, but like I said, you know, we got AP. The press conference for I'm pretty sure everybody saw it. For those of you guys who didn't see it, there's a lot I really liked. You know, Patrick Graham was there. You know, I think today or yesterday the final head coaching position was filled. So I think that was like the only really thing we're really losing about, or we were worried about losing Patrick Graham, is to another team for a head coaching position. You know, so the fact that all the head coaching positions have been filled, it's looking like he's going to stay. It hasn't been really officially announced yet, but I really don't see him taking a defensive coordinator job somewhere else when everything that he's done and built and everything with this team right now. You know, he even said it. You know, he loves this group of guys. Hopefully he's happy to be here and we can come back, you know, because everything he's done with that defense, we got to keep AP. And they've already made some good moves. You know, we picked up, I think it was the cornerbacks coach or the safeties coach from the Steelers. One of the things that I really, really liked about after Antonio Pierce was named head coach, it was like that same day, if not the next day, you heard he just got rid of like every single McDaniels guy. You know, so he just like with Marcus Peters, he's not afraid to make the moves that he feels are necessary to be made, you know. And I think getting rid of everybody that's kind of came from that McDaniels tree, everybody that kind of came from, you know, a way of McDaniels, I think it was a smart move to just cut losses, you know, get rid of them. Bo Hardegree was gone right away. It just goes to show, you know, he's not afraid to make those moves. He stands by what he says. He stands behind what he says. You know, and that's something that I could really appreciate. You know what I'm saying? So get to the chat real quick. Menace, my dog, salute to you, fam. Appreciate you guys for being here. You know, so I know I really liked it, you know, and during the press conference, you know, he even, you know, took that jab at Telesco, you know, like, yeah, you know, I wanted to put up 71. We were going to go for 2. You know, it's like, cool. Like, you know, get that out the way, like, right, real quick. You know, I'm pretty sure they addressed it in their own time, their own little personal meetings or whatever, but get that elephant out the room right away. You know what I'm saying? Kind of feels like that game that we did put up 63 points cost him and the head coach their job, you know? So that was one thing I was kind of questioning, you know, why we would bring him in, you know, after it kind of seemed like the Chargers kind of collapsed, you know, but after a few people commented on my comment, you know, on social media, you know, they're just pointing out things that I didn't really care to pay attention to, you know, like the team kind of gave up on the coach and, you know, like the coach was kind of done anyways, you know, so It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy we got AP. One of the reasons why. Um, what up, Solo? Appreciate you, dog. Appreciate you, brother. One of the things I'm kind of okay with Antonio Pierce is because Jim Harbaugh, we already know he got the resume and he got the championships. You know, he has a resume in the NFL. He has a good record and everything. And this is my thing. You know, you could another grown man could teach another grown man how to play football the way he thinks it should be played. How they think, you know, it could be played better. You know, and I'm not saying that those are all necessarily bad things. You know, he does have the track record and everything like that. But one thing you can't really teach is effort. You know, and the amount of effort that these guys give for Antonio Pierce, I think that along with him letting the guys kind of play how they want to play, you know, kind of keeping it a kid's game, you know, telling them it's all about having fun. It's all about, you know, going out there and you know, trying to get the win, obviously, but at the same time, don't forget it's a game. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that I think he's let them play their game the way they want to play, and the players holding each other accountable and responsible, you know, for bad plays or lack of effort or everything like that. You know, like you've seen it a lot more. Max Crosby, you know, trying to rally the guys on the sideline. You see more AP trying to rally the team on the sideline than you did, I feel, more than with Josh McDaniels. You know, so I think that's just one thing you can't teach. You know, you can't teach effort, and the amount of effort that these guys give for AP, you know, with the right pieces around him. I really think that this is exactly what this team needs. You know, like there's not going to be another coach, you know, yelling Raiders, smoking cigars, you know, at press conferences and stuff like that. It's not going to feel the same, you know. So the fact that he does it and it's so genuine, and like no matter whether it's a win or a loss, you know, like you always want to give it your all for this guy. You always want to feel like you want to like run through a wall for him, you know. So if I feel like that, I can only imagine what the players feel like. So that's one of the reasons why I'm totally fine with Harbaugh not coming. Not only that, but it's been rumored that whatever shit he got into in college with the NCAA and everything like that, that they're not just going to let that slide, and they're not going to let him get away with it just because he's in the NFL. So I heard that the NCAA and possibly the NFL, you know, like that he might be penalized for regardless, you know. So, you know, kudos to Mark Davis for doing his research on that, because that was one thing I didn't know about. So, you know, that's another thing. And, you know, everybody's like, you know, now we got Sean Payton, we got Andy Reid, we got Jim Harbaugh in our conference. Like, so who cares? Who cares? You know what I'm saying? Like, who really cares? AP already beat Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We already beat the Chargers and Herbert. We already beat Sean Payton and the Broncos. You know, so I mean, what is there to really worry about? You know, like, not saying that Jim Harbaugh isn't going to make the Chargers a better team, but I mean, you gotta beat the better teams to prove that you're the better team. You know, so if we can play better teams twice a year, I think that's only going to make us better. You know, and I'm not worried about, you know, having all those top tier coaches in our division, because we've already beat our entire division in that last stretch with AP as our interim head coach, with a rookie offensive coordinator that pretty much did a lot of what McDaniels did, just in a different way, and a rookie quarterback that wasn't planning on being a starter. You know, so I think with a full off season, hopefully we do good in the draft. That's another thing I wanted to get to after this. Hopefully we do good in the draft, and we get that franchise quarterback, you know. And that was one of the things that AP said in the press conference, that he was kind of happy with Telesco. He came in there and he had a plan. He already had a plan. He had a plan. He presented it, and he presented a way of how he think they could execute it, you know. And Antonio Pierce really liked it. Mark Davis liked it. You know, so for him to go in there with a plan, and it has to be some type of trade up in the draft. People are talking about trying to get to number 1 and giving up a first this year, a first, second, third this year and next year. I just think that's too much. I think that's too much. I don't think we need to get to number one, but it is what it is. We'll see. But so that's another thing. Tom Telesco. I wasn't really too sure. Started doing my research on him, and to be real, he's the where's that? Okay. He's the first general manager that we've had since Al Davis that actually has experience being a general manager. So just let that sink in for a minute. Every single other general manager we've had, they've all had NFL experience, but it was never like general manager experience. Reggie McKenzie, he did a lot of work with Green Bay and then came over here with the Raiders, and he was a general manager for the Raiders, but that was his first time being a general manager. What happened to my window, damn it? All right, here we go. So, Tom Telesco, he played, but didn't really have a lot of like interesting player. I think he was like a wide receiver at Ohio or something like that. But he started off in Buffalo as just an intern, 91, 94 with the Panthers. He was like a really, really low level scout with the Panthers from 95 to 97. And then when he came into the Colts is when he really like started to make his splash as a scout. In just his first 2 years, he moved up from like entry level scout, team scout, to almost like a pro level scout for the team. And in 98 is when they drafted Peyton Manning. So he had a part in drafting Peyton Manning. The Colts, when he was there, they went 154 and 86, 154 to 86. The only other team that had more than that were the Patriots, and I think they had like 168. So they only won like 14 more games than the Colts in that whole stretch that the Patriots were doing their thing and getting to the playoffs and the Super Bowls and everything. 12 playoff appearances, 8 division titles. I mean, he put in work with the Colts. I think I'm not sure if Dwight Freeney was there. I know they got Marvin Harrison. So he knows how to see talent. He knows how to see talent. Same thing with the Chargers. Wasn't as successful with the Chargers as he was with the Colts, but then again, he didn't really have that franchise quarterback the whole time. Like Peyton Manning was in the league for a long time. So there he was 66 and 81 since the 2014-15 season with the Chargers, and he had a part in drafting Herbert, Bosa, Asante Samuel Jr., Derwin James. Chargers, they have an okay defense. He brought in Khalil Mack to help out Bosa. So he makes stuff happen. You know what I'm saying? He makes stuff happen, but that's impressive. This right here, the 154 wins, 86 losses, 12 playoff appearances, and 8 division titles. Like, it's you can't really knock, like the stats and everything like that. And when you really think about it, the Colts were the only real team that were pretty competitive against the Patriots, with Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and everything. So after seeing all that, I'm kind of okay with Telesco being there because he's, like I said, he's the first general manager that we've actually had that has experience being a general manager, And like I said, I'm not worried about Harbaugh. Let's see, after Al Davis passed away in 2010, Hugh Jackson was the head coach. He became the interim general manager for that season, and they went 8-8. That very next season in 2012, they got Reggie McKenzie, and he was there for 6 years. He went 40 and 72. And after that, the very next year is when we got Got rid of Del Rio. We got Gruden, brought in Gruden and NFL analyst Mike Mayock, as the general manager. Like he was an analyst, for NFL Network, and he was a broadcaster and stuff like that, and that's what he really got his name for. And yeah, he was known for making like really good draft picks and like during the combine and the draft, and he would pick good players and stuff like that. But that's way different than being a general manager for a team, So first time general manager Mike Mayock, ex NFL analyst, and then after that it was Dave Ziegler. Again, I'm pretty sure he was not a general manager at New England. Not too positive about that, but I honestly think that was his first time being a general manager for a team. And him and McDaniels went 9-16, 9-15, something like that. So get to the chat real quick. Dark, what's up, man? Salute. Thank you for tuning in. Richard, what's up, man? Salute, brother. So what do you guys think? Like, what do you guys think now that AP got a general manager with experience? He says he has a plan. He's gonna go in there, and from what I think, he's gonna try to trade up in the draft and get a quarterback a little early. A lot of people are saying Caleb Williams. I'm not gonna knock the talent, but I mean, the NFL is a grown man sport, and a lot of people are holding him crying, on his mom's shoulder that one time. It just like it. You got to be strong physically as far as mentally, and that's not even just for football. That's just for everything, So you gotta really have that mental strength, and I don't know if he could come in here and be a leader, with everything that's happened and he's done and he's seen and stuff like that. That's just me being honest. I'm not saying he's not a good quarterback, but I also think we'd have to give up too much to get him anyways. So we got Richard. I'm happy for our OC and Marvin Lewis. And oh yeah, that's right. Has it been made official? I don't think they made it official yet. At least I've been trying to follow up on it. I know they were looking into. There was rumors coming out that they're looking at the Chip Kelly. So yeah, I guess it is. I guess it is official. Yeah, I guess it is official. Cliff Kingsbury is our new offensive coordinator. Yes, sir. Kingsbury is official. Yep, there it is. Dark just assured me on that. Thank you. There it is. So yeah, Cliff Kingsbury. I'm happy with it. He has experience with younger quarterbacks. I said that in one of my earlier shows. Another thing I'm happy. Patrick Graham staying. I didn't want nothing to happen to that defense. So I'm super happy Patrick Graham is staying. I also saw on Twitter that Champ Kelly was at the Senior Bowl. So that means he's still on the staff somehow, assistant general manager, something like that, probably. And if he is, like, good for him for wanting to stay with the team and going back to the position he was before, just to stay part of the team and everything. Like, kudos to him, man. I'm real proud and happy to see him back, because I feel like him, AP, and Patrick Graham, like they all want to be successful. I don't think it's kind of one above the other. I think it's the whole team. I think they all kind of just want to be successful. And I see it. Now that the defense is going to stay together, now that we got our offensive coordinator, our defensive coordinator, our head coach. Like I said, Antonio Pierce made some good hirings as far as I can't remember if it was the cornerbacks coach or it was the safeties coach from the Steelers. Yeah, I could see that. Dark, a B plus. It's not like a home run, but could be like a triple. And who knows, like I said, he's going to bring in a fresh offense. He's um he's an offensive minded type of guy, and he knows how to work with a mobile quarterback. So hopefully we get a quarterback with some mobility. Now it's all about, now that we have, we kind of know what our staff is and everything like that. Now it's, what do we do in the draft? Are you guys really trying to give up like 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a third, for Caleb Williams, to try to get to the Bears? I mean, I just think that's too much. That's too much capital. I think there's still a lot of pieces that we need on this team, and I think giving up all that, not having to pick all the way to the fourth round this year and next year it's just a lot, and it's a lot to risk on one of those, number one overall picks, because I mean they never really pan out. They never really pan out. Yeah, Dark. I've heard some rumors about that too, about Hugh Jackson. I thought he was supposed to come over as some kind of like uh coordinator or assistant or something like that for the offense, if what I heard was correct. Richard said, so I checked out Penix Jr. and I'm surprised on how good he is. No, Penix is good. The only thing that worries me about him is his injuries. I think he's had two ACL injuries, or two injuries in college already. And when you come to the NFL, you're just gonna get hit by bigger people, heavier people, and that's what I don't want. Because Derek Carr was good until he got hurt. And once he got hurt, he was never the same. He had happy feet, and he would feel pressure that wasn't there. He was never the same. I think he was just always worried about getting hurt again, so. But yeah, the only thing that worries me about Penix is his injury history. Honestly, I'd be cool with Jaden Daniels. You know, he's a Cali kid. He got connections with Antonio Pierce. AP was there. I think their last game. He shouted him out in the Heisman speech. Like, there's a lot of connections there, and I don't think Jaden Daniels is going to be a number one overall pick. Not saying that he's not. He don't have the capability of it, but I just think everything that Caleb Williams and the whole hype around his name and everything like that. We'll see after like the combine and everything, but yeah, I still think he's gonna hold that number one spot overall, and I think that's better off for us because we don't have to give up the house, to try to get to number one. But that also means that another team might take him. So. But so I'm super happy that Kingsbury is official. I'm just kind of more happy that now we know who our staff is and kind of the direction they're gonna go, because I mean, who knows, Aiden O'Connell might even be able to show a little bit more upside with Cliff Kingsbury rather than fucking Bo Hardegree. Now having someone who's experienced with the offense and knows how to run an offense and stuff like that, as opposed to someone who learned from someone else and the person they learned from didn't know what they were doing in the first place. So, Richard, he has a hell of a cannon, but I agree. I'm worried about his injury history. Yeah, yeah. That's just the thing. I mean, it it sucks to have to think about that, when it comes to like these people coming up that have like super, like, they're really talented and stuff like that, and they can be a really good asset for our team, but like injury history is just like one of the biggest red flags ever, because if we're gonna, trade all that draft capital and everything like that to try to get someone who we think is our franchise guy, and then they have a season-ending injury, 2-3 weeks into the season, it's just like now we're back at where we were, this season. We're throwing in our backup. It's not what we planned for, and just yeah. I think it's just I think the risk isn't worth the reward with Penix. Yeah, he's practicing for the Senior Bowl. Yep. like I said, there was reports that Champ Kelly's there for us, so that's another good thing. Like I said, super glad he stuck around and he was still happy to go back to the role that he had before, being assistant general manager. I feel like got like a lag on my fucking camera. So I want to try something new, you guys. I want to try this new segment I've been thinking about because I saw some crazy stuff the other day. It was like a few weeks ago, but I want to know what is the most Raider shit you have seen, heard, or done recently. And I'd like throw like a black flag on it. Like that was my idea for the whole segment is it's not a red flag, it's not a yellow flag. I ain't challenging or nothing. I want to know like what is the most Raiders shit you have seen, heard, or done recently. And I was walking out of Walmart a few weeks ago. It was probably like about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. And I saw this older guy, and I wanted to talk to him about his car because he had one of the newer Accords, and I think they're dog shit ugly. And I wanted to talk to him about his car. And when he turned around, like this dude was completely bald, but in the back of his head, he had the little bit of hair he had left, and it spelled out Raiders in the back of his head with his hair. And I thought like that shit was like some gangster ass shit. Like I would like to do that when I'm that old and I'm losing my hair. So what's the most Raiders thing you guys seen, done, or heard recently? That's mine. I mean, dude was old. He was old. White hair dude, got a little hunch in his back, but when I asked him, I'm like, hey, does that say Raiders in your hair? He's like, fuck yeah. He's like, Raider Nation for life. I was like, all right, hell yeah, that's what's up. It was dope, man. That's the kind of Raider fan I could see myself being. I'm gonna be old as shit. I don't care. I'm still gonna be repping Raiders. Think you should bring in a vet quarterback to be sure. I mean, I'm totally cool with bringing in a veteran quarterback, but there's people like saying Russell Wilson. I don't want Russell Wilson. I don't want Russell Wilson. Get rid of Garoppolo. I don't want Wilson. If Kirk Cousins, I think it was reported he wants $45 million a year for 2 years. That's $90 million. Like, nah, I don't think he's worth that. I don't think Cousins is worth that, especially for 2 years. Like, nah. And I heard like, yeah, Devontae wants Kirk and all that stuff, like, or he wouldn't mind having him as a teammate and stuff like that, but not for $45 million a year. I'd rather get a rookie quarterback and ride that 5-year deal out. Trying to get Wentz. Wentz isn't bad. Wentz isn't bad, but I think he'd be exactly like what we'd want him for, like a veteran backup. Carson Wentz. I don't know. I'm trying to think of who else is going to be a free agent this year. I don't even know. Who else is going to be a free agent. I mean, there's still talks of Fields, but if we get Fields, I don't know if we trade all that to still get a younger quarterback, to have Fields, AOC, and a first round pick quarterback. I mean, yeah, he could learn from him and stuff like that. I mean, but I don't know. I think that'd be a lot. I think we'd have to give up something for Fields, and then we'd have to give up more to get a quarterback early in the draft. And I think that'd be giving up too much for, I guess, the same position, when we could just, well, regardless, though, you're right, though, Richard, regardless, we do need a veteran quarterback. We can't go in with just AOC and someone we draft. That's just facts. I wonder who's veteran or who's a free agent this year. Let's see. Free agent quarterbacks. All right, so we got Kirk Cousins, Ryan Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor, Marcus Mariota, Sam Darnold, Jameis Winston, Drew Lock, Baker Mayfield. For real, he's a free agent. Gardner Minshew, Teddy Bridgewater, Tyler Huntley, Joe Flacco. That fool needs to retire already. Joe Flacco, Joshua Dobbs. There's actually quite a few. None that are that good though. I mean, so I guess the best ones would be towards the top. You know, Kirk Cousins, Tannehill, Jacoby Brissett, Tyrod Taylor. I mean, Marcus Mariota, we already had him. Jameis Winston wasn't too bad after he got his eyes fixed and he knew who he was throwing to. Yeah. I mean, well, Andre James is a free agent this year. I say we let him go and we just move Parham to center. Let him go, move Parham to center. We need a right tackle. I think Colton Miller is on his last year. Brandon Parker, I don't want him. I think he makes a better. He would make a really good right tackle if he had better legs or like better feet, because he has like long arms and everything. But he's not a good lineman at all. But yeah, I would let Andre James go. Let Andre James go. I think he's undersized, and he doesn't get into that second level like I was used to like Rodney Hudson doing. You know, because I mean, how many times did like McFadden or Marcel Reese or someone, you know, run the ball, and you know you saw Hudson down there, Osemele down there, you know, like just making blocks down the field. You know, like I hardly never saw that from Andre James. And yeah, I think we need someone with a little bit more physicality right there, a little bit more size. Because like I said, I think he's just a little bit undersized. Oh man, my fucking phone's broken. That's what. Yeah, I would trade like about. I wouldn't mind getting rid of a first this year, like trading for the first and maybe a second, and like a second and maybe a third next year. But I would try to throw like some players in there. You know, I looked at what Chicago kind of needs. I think they need a defensive tackle, and I think quarterback and wide receiver. I think I would try to give them Renfro. I would try to trade Renfro to them. What other wide receivers do we have? I don't want to get rid of Jacoby Myers. I like Jacoby Myers. Yeah, Thayer Munford. Thayer Munford was playing what was it? Left guard? I think he was playing left guard. Or was it right tackle? I can't remember. I know he was. They moved him around on the line a few times, but there was one position he played towards the end of the season where Colton Miller was out. I think it was left guard. Colton Miller was out. Andre James was out, and that's that game we started Parham at center, and I think it was Munford at left guard. And I was down with how we were playing that game because we were using that running back by committee that game. I think that was the first game that Josh Jacobs was hurt, and it could have been the first or the second game that Jacobs was hurt. And we're using that running back by committee, and we're eating up the run defense. We're moving the ball. I saw Parham getting down there, making blocks down the field. So I'd be totally cool with that kind of switch up right there. But we still need depth because they were our depth pieces, you know. So if we were to get rid of them, we would still have to get some kind of depth pieces. Oh hell yeah, a new era has begun. I can't wait. I cannot wait. That's why I'm so cool with AP being the head coach. Because like I said, what other head coach are you gonna hear yelling Raiders at the press conference, smoking cigars, you know, like letting these players be who they are and holding each other accountable. You know, like he's letting them play the game they want to play and they're having fun when they do it. And like, yeah, we had some tough losses with AP, but still at the same time, he showed that he was able to come back, rally the team, even on like, you know, a few days, you know, on a short week and stuff, and still come out and be competitive. And he had this team looking like we could be competitive with any team on any game, and we could win any game just by the way the defense was playing, by the way how disciplined they were playing, no penalties, stuff like that. I mean, now that we have an offensive coordinator, and I'm looking forward to the draft and the offseason and him having a whole full offseason with people that he's okay with having in here, and people that he wants to have in here, and people that have experience doing what they're doing. You know, I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I definitely agree. A new era has begun for Raiders, and it feels like that old Raider nature and Raider way and everything just coming back. You know, like just having a bunch of dogs on this team. You know, like that's what I'm excited for. I'm excited for it. Hey, yo, what's up, Rafa? Salute. How you doing, man? Good to see you, Rafa. But yeah, no, I totally agree. It's a new era, and we added some good pieces to our staff. You know, Marvin Lewis, even in there as an assistant, that's a lot of experience. That's a lot of knowledge, you know. And when he was with the Bengals, that's when they had Vontaze Burfict, I think. You know, so you know, he plays physical. Carson Palmer and all them, they were a decent squad. What was that one dude's name? Huzmanzada. He ended up coming to the Raiders too, didn't he? Huzmanzada? Chat, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't TJ Huzmanzada come to the Raiders after he played for the Bengals? Got Richard Lyon. These moves are monster moves, in my opinion. No, they're the right moves. They're the right moves for real. They are the right moves. You know, I'm excited to see how Kingsbury starts assembling the pieces to the puzzle. Facts. That's facts, Dark. That's facts. Now that we have our offensive coordinator, we could kind of, you know, start to see how the offense is going to start to look and kind of take shape, and you know, who he might, you know, want as far as like his quarterback and everything, you know, running his thing. Yeah, I'm almost positive he was a Raider. I'm almost positive he was a Raider. Let me get this link to my guy Rafa real quick. Yeah, like I was saying, the fact that, you know, AP went in there, and, you know, I think it was like 5 minutes later, Bo Hardegree was fired. and then everybody that was connected to McDaniels was let go. And it kind of, just like I said, it reminded me a lot of Marcus Peters. Reminded me a lot of Marcus Peters, how he wasn't afraid to make that decision, stand on it, and keep rolling with it. You know, it is what it is. Let's go. So yeah, I mean, who do you guys think could have been a better offensive coordinator? I heard reports about Chip Kelly coming over there. Looking at his record in college right now, I think it's like tied, not really the best. And like I said, I heard there was even talks about Hugh Jackson coming back as one of the offensive coordinators, or like an assistant to the offense. Richard Lyon, AP was the one who hired Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah. There was a lot of reports that AP wanted Kingsbury. That what was it? Raiders confirmed they interviewed Chip Kelly twice, but Antonio Pierce advocated for Cliff Kingsbury instead. Kingsbury stated he's fired up to be back in the NFL. Yep. Bro, Marcus Peters, as soon as we signed him, I kind of wasn't excited for it because of the season that he had before. It was like his worst season, so I wasn't really too excited about it. And then when he started seeing it on the field, I already knew it. Hey, but you already know this guy don't need no introduction. My man Rafa. What is up, Rafa?
Yo, how's it going? So to y'all.
What is up, man?
Yeah, I'm definitely good. So I'm just doing my live stream between Lakers versus Celtics, and I just found out that Cliff Kingsbury is the new one. I mean, let's get ready to work. So I got a few time to go out because right now they're at the halftime. But
what's the score, Rafa? Sorry for interrupting you. What's the score? Lakers Celtics.
Yeah. But I think
what's the score?
Yeah, they just had 60 against 44, which is Los Angeles Lakers is winning.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, with the twin for the case of Clint Kingsbury, I mean, he doesn't have it like a track at all. But I mean, just let it be realistic. I mean, just because it's something like the head coach, it doesn't mean like I have to coordinate it. I mean, he just failed as a head coach for the Arizona Cardinals. But that guy offense, like, they just look at it next big thing. He became like more concerned, but it didn't have it the more concern because it didn't have it to go for it at the seam of Kingsbury. I mean, they were building it up, but there's no small part on it. But it's just like a couple kids. But he was just like a great one. But between the Arizona, he just scores points. So how's going to be like the conflict? I mean, their style of play, which is so great. There is no guarantee they're a work or a quiet functionality movie this offseason, but it changed the scope of play calling their head. Because I'm worried about the situation with the quick drives with a disadvantage over the air raid predicated the offense. It's just making it efficient plays at bigger praise. But that will change for the right quarterback. Because I'm definitely having good with Clint Kingsbury. They're going to bring the air raid offense. I mean, Antonio Pierce prefer one approach and Kingsbury the another. So it's better to have the two styles rather than one. More mindset opportunity to switch it up, the offense. I mean, it really affects the road to decide to go for the quarterback, but I would expect us that are about to concern about for the trade or a new quarterback. I would say that would cost too much. But most of the top options are really gone for that benefit. I mean, there's had a lot of interviews on it, but he was clearly over this head right here because he seems like the rest of the comparative candidates unlike to hire something else. I mean, they had just had between Zach Robinson and Kim Kingsbury. I mean, just happy to those ones. But I mean, there's no news about the underneath stuff that was never picked by the Murray. with the Arizona Cardinals, but was playing but few games almost out in receiver as an easy first start. I mean, they're lucky to join up for there's a fans many talented quarterbacks, and what happens to the same Clinsbury and Ken Trey have for the Raiders? I mean, they're gonna refuse to have playing for the team, but there's so many quarterbacks who get drafted for the players for the Raiders. So we have to sign it with the college OC, but becomes the OC of the Raiders. I mean, they refuse to for the team, but draft the players, draft the history at the NFL. But it's more than important to have to say the odds for the Las Vegas Raiders when it comes to defense, offense, and scheme.
I mean, after seeing what he did, they were able to do to us when what was that first year McDaniels was the quarterback. They beat us in that what was it? That last 20 seconds of that game when Kyler Murray went running around everywhere all crazy. Remember that game?
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't at the Cardinals. That actually has one of the best offense, but also he has a great offense from the University of South California, which is the loss against on the defensive, will require some athleticism at quarterback because he show up as a good NFL offense, and that Raiders swagger fits with Pierce. I mean, Telesco has the good weapons and hopefully a quarterback upgrade down roads unless AOC is going to be turning the Brock Party, which is already a habit. But none of those guys are going to be connecting an interview, and Kingsbury was literally in the building interviewing with people talking about it. I mean,
AP wanted him though. AP made it known that he wanted Cliff Kingsbury if he got hired. Cliff Kingsbury made it known that if AP got the head coaching position, that he would want to be the offense coordinator.
Yeah, but basically he had to go for it. Beating like vertical with the quarterback. I mean, they also had the field general to be on the target with aerial assault. I mean, ready enough for the defense, but hitting the receiver. I mean, they just got short bullet passes with long ball. And he just marched it through with enemy territory. Balancing the aerial with a sustained ground attack that punched holes into the forward with the enemy defensive line. And the defensive line. But I think it's going to have that Kingsbury just sucks. But I know he sucks at the head coach Cardinals, but at least he has a very mention. He has a great scheme that it will fit about the defense.
I got you right now on 6.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they just got it. I mean, just got it for everything. I mean, the whole scheme about the defense, I mean, is getting back to work right now. I mean, it seems like they have a brand new era, not only for Kingsbury, but also with Marvin Lewis, which is definitely like a good inclusion about this. And I got to tell you for Marvin Lewis about for that team, as long as I had to go for it, I mean, he's bringing out. He's bringing out for everything.
Hey, on 6, send me a message on Instagram. I'll send you the link.
But yeah, it just had to go for the job right here. I mean, Marvin Lewis having to go for that part of this one. I mean, well.
Hey, y'all, what up, dog?
Yep. How's it going, Dark? How's it going, Afakase? Well, I just realized that Marvin Lewis, he became like a man of the moment because he was trending off with the Cincinnati Bengals. But you got to check this out, folks. I mean, between Marvin Lewis and because he was very underrated. But he deserved a lot of credit for turning out for the Bengals into a decent competitive team. Remember the Super Bowl of 2022 between Bengals versus Rams? I mean, his personality was really better, but he was just like a great coach. He was just like a lot of quality to turn it out being like an underrated defense. Underrated defense. But he just ushered like in a new era, the mother to a franchise who needs desperately on that defense. Now that it's set enough, they're losing about the competition. But realistically, if you like it to really go for underrated, but if you see like it evolved the defense for the Cincinnati Bengals, they want to do something about it. He's really like a solid coach, good scout, and good team assembler. But in that game, there's like lackluster, but they had to do repair about it. You can't rock it out for the victories against lesser teams and left during the season with the superior talent. But if it comes to the playoffs, you cannot get back horrible clock management and wait until fourth quarter and try to make adjustments. I mean, he did wear it down for the last few years here at all, but look at several of the coaches right here for the record. I mean, he left. I mean, absolutely underrated. But he shouldn't stay for the comfort Anthony McBay. But also, there's some big comments that I would look to agree. Because that's like the perfect time to hire it up and again and like a great defense.
Hey, Rafa.
Uh-huh.
AR wants to know if you heard about the possible assistant coach.
About the possible assistant coach. Oh my God, I forgot. What the heck? Oh man. Wow, I cannot believe it. I just read it.
Who was it? What is it? Dixon Cider? Fuck yeah.
Oh man, I cannot believe it.
Oh shit.
Man,
Oh fuck.
yeah. But hey, I just wanted to break it out because right now the game is on right now. But I will let you know, and of course, it's been like a short pleasure. But yes,
Hey,
salute.
always appreciate you, Rafa. Thank you for pulling
Yeah.
up, man.
And I have one more thing to do. Raider Nation for life. And when it comes to the Super Bowl, I got a message for those Chiefs and 49er fans. Fuck you and fuck you, 49er fans. There you go. Have a good one. Black Sunday all day.
Have a good one, man.
Have a good one.
Oh man. Yo, Rafa. He's always something else when he's on here. Anthony, what's up? How you doing, man? Thank you for pulling up. We're about to have another guest on here right now. Got that peanut butter gelato in here. Oh yeah, this shit's pretty tasty. But yeah, so back where we're at, the whole GM, OC. I mean, seen the way they fucking beat us, the Cardinals, that little last. Yo, what up?
What's up, CT? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? Blessing the channel for the first time. I appreciate it.
Of course, brother. Just getting home and shit. It's been a long day, dog. But had to jump on here and shit, especially after we got our offensive coordinator, man. I'm really excited. You know what I mean? For King to come in here, man. Especially too, you know what I mean? He likes us mobile quarterbacks to have a strong arm like Kyler Murray. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is Jalen Daniels. So hopefully, man, we'll make it happen.
I agree with you. I'd rather have Jaden Daniels than give up everything for Caleb Williams.
Yeah, especially too. I don't think Caleb Williams is that good, to be honest with you. I've seen a lot of USC games this year, man, and he always has pressure. Was having pressure up the middle. You know what I mean? That's a common thing that you're always going to get in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's having trouble playing against Utah when they're bringing pressure up the middle. What's he going to do when he has some of the best football players in the world doing it against him? So I'm not saying he's going to be a total bust, but I'm not about to give up an arm and the leg for someone that might be a bust at the quarterback position.
Yeah,
I understand he's the best quarterback prospect that we had since fucking Andrew Luck and fucking Joe Burrow and them, but at the same time, you know what I mean? After what I've seen, that's not somebody I would draft number one overall.
Yeah, no, I agree. And when was the last time the number one overall pick that was a quarterback actually worked out?
Shout out to my boy Avakazi. That guy on 6, he's been doing me for years.
But no, yeah, I'm happy that we finally got our staff. You know what I'm saying? Patrick Graham staying. It's been reported that he was only going to leave if it was for a head coaching job, and all the head coaching jobs been filled. So that's looking good for us. Champ Kelly's still in the house. I think he's going back to his assistant GM role, which is cool for him. To go ahead and take that role back and everything. So it feels like the core of what was from last year, like everything good that happened last year is kind of like still stuck around. And like all the shitty shit, all the McDaniels related shit got fucking pushed out the door.
No, I completely agree, CT. Especially now too, like the Ravens, they just got stolen their offensive coordinator, and he just became a head coach. And you just think about all the personnel people he's about to steal from the Ravens. Thank God that's not happening to us. You know what I mean? We still have all of our defensive players. I mean, our coaching staff pretty much together. And that's the big thing. Mm-hmm. Having Kelly's still here, man, because he was in charge of the scouting. And that's one thing I was worried about if we didn't keep him and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got to get a whole new scouting staff in here, and keeping him is a big advantage because he's been leading the scouting for the past year, and we should be good now going into the draft.
Yeah, I think Telesco is gonna have a little bit of input on the scouting too. I mean, that's kind of like what he came from and what he does. So and everything that he did in Indy, 12 playoff appearances, 8 division titles, the whole stretch he was there. I mean, he got the eye for that talent, and he knows how to get it, So I'm more excited that we got people in here that are experienced, an experienced general manager, offensive minded type guy, exactly like how you said how he likes and has experience with mobile quarterbacks. And I was just pointing out that last game that we played the Cardinals, a few years ago when they beat us with like 2 seconds left, and it was a lot of Murray. It was a lot of quarterback called plays, So hopefully we can get like a Jaden Daniels and something like that can just fall right into these guys' laps and be like perfect for everything that they're trying to do for us.
No, I completely agree. It's just going to be real key who the quarterback's going to do and what we do at the end of the day. It's all going to come back to that position because we're only a couple of players away from being a playoff team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just think about it. If fucking Josh McDaniels would have got fired earlier and shit, I mean, I really think this team would have made the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm just glad it happened. You know what I mean? But I'm just a little frustrated and annoyed with some of these Raider YouTubers that didn't want AP at first, you know what I mean? Just because he's from Compton, he has a 6'4" and this and that. What does that got to do with anything about AP? When AP took over this team, I just give the people the example of this. The first time we played the Chargers, right? What did Khalil Mack do? He lit us up for 5 sacks. Supposedly Josh McDaniels is a great offensive minded, but you let the best defensive player on their team eat you up, right? But let's talk about now when we faced them with AP. We put up the most points in the history. You know what I mean? With the rookie quarterback, you know what I mean? Raiders history against the Chargers, you know what I mean? It's just ridiculous, just people saying that. You know what I mean? Especially now that we're over here riding Jim Harbaugh's dick and shit the whole time. But now they're trying to say, oh, yeah, I want AP the whole time. Like, get the fuck out of here. You're one of the biggest flip offers in the world. You know what I mean? And now they're going to come out and say, oh, yeah, I wanted Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator. No, you didn't, bro. You were over here and wanted Jim Harbaugh and his homies to come over here. At the end of the day, man, we got the right man for the job, and that's all I'm happy about.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, dude. And like I said earlier in the show, like Harbaugh may know how to teach, grown men how to play football a different way and the way he sees it and everything. But there's some shit you can't teach, like effort, And I think that's one thing that AP's real good at is getting like all the effort from the whole team, like not even just the defense, not just the linebackers, not, anything. I think like the whole team wants to go out there and play the kind of football that he lets them play, the type of football that they want. And then you see the players holding each other accountable, when the lack of effort is shown, and not only that, but I keep going back to it because Marcus Peters was a name, he was a name for us. It was supposed to be a good signing and everything. AP was like, yeah, nah, you're not going to put in that effort. You're going to keep doing what you're doing. You're going to ride the bench. Oh, you're going to have an attitude about it. All right, fuck it. You're off the team. And for him to stand by that, and then bring in Jack Jones, and it's just like, look at what Jack Jones did for us, and it's like, that's why I feel there's some things you can't teach, like you can't teach a grown ass man to go out there and give it his all for you, like you just got to know how to get that out of him. I'm not saying that Harbaugh wouldn't have been able to do it, but with everything that AP's done, I think it would have been too much of a change for these guys, and I don't think they wanted it. You know, like
No,
they like being able to play their type of football and everything like that.
no, completely too. I agree. Especially too, you going from a head coach that was all business and business. You know what I mean? To not even let him celebrate a win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just been got to win. All right, next to the next game. You know what I mean? When it shouldn't be like that. Football's a fun sport. You know what I mean? You grow up as a kid playing it. You know what I mean? It should be fun. You should be having fun. You know what I mean? And it just amazes me. You know what I mean? That these like how much different night and day it was when Josh McDaniel was here to AP. We still had the same team. We had a rookie quarterback, you know what I mean? And he was able to do what he did. Not just that, we got rid of the biggest like thing we had for the years, and that's the penalties, guys. We were one of the least penalized teams under AP, and that's not a lot of things that Raider fans talk about. You know what I mean? I'm tired of getting the stupid flags and the stupid penalties at the worst times. You know what I mean? Now when AP took over, everybody's like holding everybody accountable. Nobody's really fucking around. It's just amazing, and it just pisses me off that certain content creators were like, I don't want AP, he's too cocky. Well, I want a fucking leader of men. You may have the greatest football mind in the world like Josh McDaniels. You might know football, great X's and O's, but if the players are not going to go out there and give them their all every single play and believe what you put in front of them to put them in the best position to win, they're not going to go out there and fight for you.
Yep. Yeah, like I said, it's one thing for one grown-ass man to tell another grown-ass man, like, okay, do it like this. It's another thing for that other grown-ass man to want to go out there and do that shit for you. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what AP fucking gets out of these guys. And that's why honestly, I said it before, you know, I totally agree with everything you said. Like, just we're only just a few pieces away, you know, as far as players, as far as personnel. And now that we got our personnel, I honestly think we're gonna go Jaden Daniels. I honestly think just everything, the whole connection. If it's possible for us to not give up too much and move up closer to get to that spot, you know, I don't think we need to move. We need to get to number one, because I honestly think it's gonna be Caleb Williams no matter what. You know, but if we could still move up closer and we can get Jaden Daniels, I don't even want to say like a player like Jaden Daniels, but Jaden Daniels, I think with the connection that he has with AP, it's almost going to be like a Jack Jones, but at quarterback. You know, like this dude's going to want to go out there and play for him. Like he's giving him a chance, just like AP gave Jack Jones another chance and everything, you know. So that's why I was totally fine with AP, and I wanted AP. I didn't want Harbaugh. I even said it. He might have the resume and everything, the wins, you know, the track record and everything like that. But as far as like what being a Raider is, like that's just a lifestyle, you know. And there ain't gonna be no other coach yelling Raiders at the press conference, smoking cigars and shit like that. You know, it feels natural, and he, like, AP don't even have to try to like be a Raider. It's just natural for that to do it. So that's why I was totally cool with it.
No, especially too. Think about him as a little kid. You know, growing up watching the Raiders in LA. You know what I mean? And then all these years later, you're living your dream, and now you're the head coach of the team.
Head coach of the team, bro.
That's crazy, dog. Talking about any Raider fan's dream. You know what I mean? I know it'd be my dream and shit to be leading those men out to battle every day. You know what I mean? To be able to yell Raiders. You know what I mean? That's the craziest thing. And the thing is too, I applaud AP for bringing in Marvin Lewis and all these former head coaches that done this before in the league. You know what I mean? He's not like Josh McDaniels that's bringing people that don't know more than him.
Yes, man. They're yes men for him. Yep.
Yes, man. Pretty much. Like, you know what I mean? He's bringing people that done this before. And another thing that people don't know, they were pretty much in the building last year. He was the interim coach. He was calling them all the time. You know, they were coming in the building once a week, I believe I heard. You know what I mean? Just to give him ideas and shit to run by him. And I like that a lot. And that's one thing I gave AP a lot of props for. Because he's not acting like he knows everything. And everything. He's going to learn. You know what I mean? He's still going to make a couple of mistakes as a rookie coach. But I'm just glad we got the right man for the job. Because I'm not going to lie, CT, in the beginning of the year, I wanted Jim Harbaugh. I'm a big Jim Harbaugh fan. I wanted him the first time when we hired Josh McDaniels, but after what I've seen AP do with this team, I didn't want him no more, bro. Any other year, I would have told we got to get Jim in here, dog. We need to get him in here. But after what I've seen, though, I don't want him in here no more, though. Everybody's saying, "Oh, we're worried about Jim being in the same division." The Chargers owe over $46 million over the cap. Yeah. They got Keenan Allen. He's 35 years old. They got Austin Eckler. They're gonna cut him. They're gonna cut Khalil Mack. They're gonna need to cut 40. I think 4 or 5 top players on their team just to get under the cap. Yeah. After that, they can cut another 25 to 30 million because they need to sign some free agents and their draft class. They're in the 3, 4, 5 year rebuild, and you guys are all worried about Jim Harbaugh. We've been dealing with fucking Andy Reid for the last 5 or 6 years and shit. You know what I mean? AP just fucking beat fucking Andy fucking Reid with the rookie quarterback, bro. So you think we're worried about Jim Harbaugh? No, I just say bring it.
You know, that's exactly what the fuck I said, dog. That's exactly what the fuck I said.
You know what I mean? Bring everybody. That shit. I just don't understand why these motherfuckers are panicking and shit, dude.
I feel like if anything, it's gonna make us better, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like having to go out there and compete hard like that.
For real, I think Jim Harbaugh's more worried about him coming to the division than us if he still got it. Look at who's going against and shit. You know what I mean?
Yep. Hey, that's facts.
You know what I mean? He's going against Sean Payne, AP, and not Andy. And he pretty can't
think about it like that.
What was it? And college football, I think he only beat Ohio State 1 time and shit in this past year. You know what I mean? It's just a little ridiculous that everybody's worried about him coming to the division. I'm not. I'm ready. I'm just ready for the season to start. It just really sucks that we ain't gonna have no football until August and shit. You know what I mean? We still gotta wait for free agency, which I think is really key to see what we do in the draft. Because if we sign an offensive lineman in the free agency, doesn't mean we're gonna go offensive lineman in the first round. We might look another position, but everybody wants to keep doing their mock draft. It's kind of hard right now until we see what we do in free agency, but. The thing I'm more excited to see is who are we going to cut to make these cap room. You know what I mean? Are we going to cut Jimmy Garoppolo? Are we going to cut Hunter Renfrow? You know what I mean? It should be interesting offseason, especially with the first couple of moves that AP and our new GM have to make.
Yeah, I honestly feel like it's no matter what, Garoppolo's gone. You know, the fact that AP even benched him as soon as he came in, like, you know what I'm saying, and didn't even put him in no matter how shitty O'Connell looked in that Kansas City game. Like, you know, he's gonna stand on what he said. Like, we're gonna roll with AOC, you know, and I think I respect him more for that shit, because if Garoppolo would have went in there and got hurt, he would have been on the roster this season regardless, and we would have owed him that fucking money, you know. And I was preaching that shit at the end of the season so bad, like I don't want to see Garoppolo on the field for shit, you know. I don't, and that's one of the reasons why. So I think it's a lock for him. The only thing I'm worried about Renfrow, I would say try to use him in a trade to move up in the draft. It's just his contract. Yeah, you know, his contract is so big. Like, I think someone like actually made some stat thing on Twitter. Like, he had so many catches for so many yards, and it equaled for what he got paid was like $625,000 a catch. Like, holy fucking shit! Like, that's ridiculous, you know. He's getting paid a lot of money to just ride the bench, you know, and it kind of sucks because McDaniels coming here, I think, is what messed with him, because McDaniels didn't use him at all.
No, I completely agree. He messed up a lot of players, even Malcolm Coops. If you remember Malcolm Coops in training camp, he almost
yelled at him and shit.
He yelled at him and shit. He's like, "What the fuck are you doing, this and that?" Mm-hmm. He benched him and shit, bro. And if it wasn't for Chandler Jones getting hurt, he had a plan because Tyree Wilson wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Yeah. But once he came in there, Kunsa went off. It just amazes me what you are able to do as a player when you have a head coach that believes in you and puts you in a position for you to produce. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. Man. Like too, you think about it too. How much was Josh McDaniels holding Patrick Graham back? As soon as AP became the coach, he said, "Hey, Graham, let loose. Do what you do, brother.
Do what you do." Yep.
It changed from night and day, and we have the same players. Nothing really changed except for Jack Jones. But it just amazes me how much of a horrible coach Josh McDaniels does, and how much he set back the franchise just for the draft picks, that Jimmy Garoppolo, even that draft pick too, Brian Young and shit from the defense tackle we took from Alabama. What a horrible draft pick that was. Yeah. If we would have took the other Brian Young, the one that the Rams took, that he had 9 sacks as his defensive tackle, I think they took him like 5 or 6 picks after us. You know what I mean? How different would this defense would have looked and shit? Yep. It's just stupid. You know what I mean? That's one thing I do like Tom Telesco, because he does know how to draft. I have a
Yeah.
good buddy of mine that I know for 5 or 6 years now. He's a big Chargers fan. That's the first thing he told me. He's like, he's not a good when it comes to signing free agents. He's hit and miss, but when it comes to the draft, he's always going to hit at least 4 or 5 players in that draft. If
Yeah.
we start hitting 4 or 5 players on the draft per year, we're going to have a good solid team for years to come. Because
Yeah.
you always build your dynasties through the draft. You don't
Yeah.
go find big free agency every year and shit. That's how you're getting cap penalty hell. Look at the Saints right now. They're like $67 million over the cap, and they just signed Derek Carr to that big ass contract. Now
Yeah.
they're gonna refresh and do all this shit, and they're gonna be in salary cap hell, like the Raiders were when Reggie McKenzie got us out of all that bullshit.
Yeah.
It just, you know what I mean? It just makes you think. What really was Josh McDaniels thinking giving Jimmy Garoppolo that fucking contract, bro? It made totally no sense.
Dark, I said it a long time ago when we first signed McDaniels. I said it after I don't know how many times. Josh McDaniels was the worst thing that happened to this franchise since Jamarcus Russell, and probably maybe even worse, the fact that how far back he set us back and everything. But like, dude, I couldn't agree with everything you're saying, and just like how you said the difference between the beginning of the season with McDaniels till the end of the season with AP, bro, it almost felt like different seasons. It almost felt like different seasons. Like, it was crazy to think that if we were actually watching the same team from the same season that we were so kind of disappointed in like the first few weeks, and it couldn't be much of a more clearer sign of what the issue was. There wasn't enough room on this team for McDaniels and his ego. I think I even said that shit on AR show with you once. Like I'm gonna throw fucking Josh McDaniels' ego in there. Throw that shit in the fucking bathroom because there ain't enough room for fucking both of them on here. You know what I'm saying? So like, I couldn't agree with you more. Just the fact that how much he set the franchise back and how much he like exactly like how you said, like AP ain't over here talking about like, yeah, I know everything. Him bringing in Marvin Lewis and people like that, like he wants to learn. You could tell he wants to learn. You could tell he wants to be a better head coach and everything. Josh McDaniels was completely the opposite. It was like if you had something against him to say, then you weren't his guy, and that's why I feel like a lot of people he brought in were those yes men. They ain't gonna be the people to tell him, yeah, you're fucking up, bro. Like you're doing something wrong. And that's where Dave Ziegler fucked up, and that's why he got X'd out with him. Because if Ziegler would have did his job and fucking put his foot down and been like, no, I'm general manager, we're getting CJ Stroud, like how everybody fucking saw that shit. Like, no, it just goes to show that Josh McDaniels was, you know what I'm saying, the head coach, GM of the team. And I think that's why I'm happy we went the way we did this time, because it's not like that. AP and Telesco don't have no affiliation like that. They ain't tied to each other. So I think AP knows his role as head coach, and Telesco is going to do his job as the GM, and that's what we need, that structure. We haven't had that in a long time. Ever since we've had Gruden, it's been a head coach run team, and fucking teams don't win like that.
No, I completely agree, and that's one thing that I do give Mark Davis respect and credit for, because he doesn't know football, so he's trying to get in here a GM that knows what he's doing and a head coach, so he can just stand back and let them do their job. Because don't get me wrong, I love fucking Al Davis, but some of the things that he did before he passed away with this team, you know what I mean? It's just head scratching and shit that he really did set us back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just feel that we finally got the right head coach in here, the right GM, the right offensive coordinator, the right defensive team, and just I haven't been excited for this team in so long. I'm so hyped. I wish the season started next week, like now. I just need it now, but it's so hard for us as Raider fans to wait. You know what I mean? But I'm just excited, man. I just really, really am.
Especially because I honestly feel like they're making all the right moves. They're making all the right moves. They could have came out, as soon as they were done interviewing head coaches and like AP's the one. But they still took their time, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with general manager. Could have came out and been like, like this is the guy, but like they did their due diligence, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like they did it right. And that's another thing that has me excited, is just the structure that's being built, it feels like it's being done the right way. And I don't see why we were so close to the playoffs this year. The fact that we're making all the right moves in the right places, as long as we hit in the draft, like how you said, shit, we hit 4 or 5 out of fucking what, 6 or 7 players. I'll take it. What have we gotten in the last few years? All our first round picks aren't on the team or in jail or fucking, some other shit. So if we can have 4 out of 5 out of 7 hit, I'm totally with it. And be contributors to this team, starting contributors for this team. Fuck yeah, I'm down. And like you said, man, I'm excited. I wish the season would start tomorrow, but I'm glad we got some time and we're going to see the way this team is really starting to build and develop. And like how you said, I didn't even think about it. Jim Harbaugh going to the Chargers, he's coming into the division with, Sean Payton, Andy Reid, and AP, who just swept the division, his last, 9 games of the season. So I'm super excited, man. I'm super excited.
No, me too. Especially too. AP didn't have no training camp, no offseason, no chance to be.
My bad, AR. How long you been back there, bro?
Okay, all right. I'm only about 5 minutes. What's going on, CT? And thanks, Guy. What's going on, brother? How are you?
How you doing, AR?
How you doing, brother? Nice and windy over there, huh?
Yeah, sorry, my bad. I was just about to ask that.
Oh no, I can hear you fine, bro. I can hear you fine.
You're good, AR.
Is there a lot of feedback at the moment?
No, you're good.
Is there a lot of wind feedback at the moment?
No, you're good, bro. I could just tell. It's nice and sunny and breezy and stuff. It's all dark and rainy over here where I'm at.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Jeez, man.
Beautiful day to be a Raider, right?
Fucking beautiful day over there. You don't want to see outside over here.
It's horrible over here.
What are we talking about? You talking about the front office hires and that?
Yeah,
Yes,
so we're just talking about, like the way the Raiders have gone about it, taking their time to make AP the head coach, and like now we got the official news that Kingsbury is a Raider. They brought in Marvin Lewis. And me and On Six were just saying, we feel like they're doing it right. It's not like the head coach making all the decisions and everything like before with McDaniels, Gruden, and so on.
I couldn't agree more. Like, this is, to me, like, I've never, in my time as a Raider fan, I've never been more excited for the front office that I can see in the building. With the hires and the moves that we made this far, I couldn't be happier, to be honest. I mean, Tom Telesco, like, I was a little bit like on the fence at the start, but when I was able to marinate and look into it a little bit more, like, I'm glad that they hired someone with the experience that he has, and I'm willing to give him a chance. Antonio Pierce, as everyone knows, he's my guy, and the fact that we signed him up pretty quickly, I'm pretty happy. Couldn't be happier. And is Patrick Graham official yet?
Yeah, he's back.
I haven't heard anything say like it's officially official, but I think the only thing that he was right. I think all signs are pointing to yeah.
All signs point north, so that's a good thing. And like, I'm really with this new hiring of Cliff Kingsbury. I mean, I saw a few of Texas Tech's games before Patrick Mahomes was drafted. That's the college he was coaching, right? Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw a few of their spread offense before he made the move to head coach in with the Cardinals. So, I'm very happy with that hire. Willing to give him a chance, and two other sneaky good hires. We're having Marvin Lewis and Tom Coughlin. I really like that in support roles. Like, I like those, specifically Tom Coughlin, like having him as a support role to AP. Being that he was the head coach for the Giants during their glory days, like, I think that's a very sneaky hire, because AP's like the knock on him is he hasn't got the experience and he's not the X's and O's guys. Like, we know what kind of a motivator he is, but to have a guy like Tom Coughlin as a guy who, that's what he is. He's the direct opposite. He's not a motivating kind of guy, but he's an X's and O's guy. So to have him in a advisory assistant role, I think that's perfect for Antonio Pierce. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Like, I couldn't be happier. Like, I think they've aced it so far.
It shows that he wants to learn too. He's bringing in people that have that head coaching experience and everything like that. Like Mont was saying, and I think that shows that he isn't like he's the total opposite of McDaniels. I'm not gonna sit here and say I know everything. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I know everything. I want to bring in some
Right.
people that have been there at a high caliber, you know, and people that I have experience with and trust, you know, so on and so forth, and you know, learn from them. You know, so I think exactly how you said it, sneaky hires, not really being talked about a lot, but I think it goes to show that AP is not going to be like, yeah, you know, I know everything, I got this, you know, like it's nothing to worry about. I think he just wants to get better at what he's doing, and what better? It's just like having a veteran on the team. How's better to learn than, you know, someone else who's been there and done that.
Right. And it's good. Like, I mean, I know you guys are saying I wish your season started, but I'm actually looking forward to the process, like the free agency process. Like, who are we going to bring into the team? Because you remember last year, like, it seemed like the only players they were able to draw from the well, so to say, was the former Patriot players. How many did they sign? It's like McDaniels didn't have the personal relationships to bring in people that were outside of under his tutelage, you know what I mean? Because they just didn't. Nobody wanted to come and play here. For me, it was because of him. Like,
yeah, exactly.
I mean, I'm just connecting the dots. I mean, like, we were always getting former Patriot to mix results. I mean, some of them worked out, like Jacoby Myers and that.
Ooh, I like Jacoby.
But it's like, now that we've got a guy who, you know, is a motivator, is a lead, and you know, I'll lead and everyone will follow kind of guy. Like, players are going to want to come to that. And it's going to be exciting times from free agency to see what kind of players we're able to lure over to the dark side. And then, of course, we got the draft. Like, that for me is my favorite part of the off season.
Love the draft.
And here's a question for you: Do you know how many picks we have this draft class?
I think we have 9.
9. Okay. Do we have multiple seconds or thirds, or mostly like
I
middle
think
rounds?
we have 2 or 3 seventh round picks.
Right.
I think everything else, I think there's 1 pick we got from some other team, if I'm not mistaken, and then just those other 2 extra 7th rounders.
Right. Because I heard you guys talking about the draft class results from under the last regime. Like, I'm with you guys. Like, I mean, when you think about it, it's been almost more underwhelming outside of I mean, they only had one first rounder, but like, it was quite underwhelming, the results so far when you think about it. I mean, the best pieces being like Dylan Parham, you know, Aiden O'Connell, Zamir White. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then even that's kind of like
I mean, they're okay so far, and it's still early days, but it's like, you know, they weren't moving the needle as much as what, like, say, guys like Max Crosby, Josh Jacobs, Hunter Renfrow at the time.
They won the media.
You know what I
impact.
mean? Like, at this point of their, you know, at the second year of their career or first year, it's like, I don't know, man. Like, it brings me back to like the now. Like, I'm just looking forward to seeing what this regime does with these, with this upcoming draft class. Because I said it last year, and I'm gonna maintain that too. Like, these 2 draft classes have been, like, last year and this year will be the most important in terms of what's going to dictate where our team goes for the next 3-4 years, because we can't afford to miss more than we can hit. And so far, last year's class has been underwhelming, and I hope this year's class can be better. So
Yeah,
we'll have to wait.
that's facts. And just like how we were talking about earlier, you know, how exciting it was to see the difference in the team from when McDaniels was here to when he wasn't.
Right.
I think that I haven't lost that wave yet. You know, I still haven't lost it. I'm kind of even more excited to see, like, okay, how is the team going to get better now? You know, like we kind of knew what was the issue before. You know, offensive coordinator, quarterback. You know, the inconsistency at that play and everything. All right, so now how are we going to address that and make it better? You know, and when AP said that in the press conference that, you know, Telesco went in there with a plan and he presented it, and, you know, he gave a plan on how to execute it. That just gives me a lot of faith that they want to go in there and get that next young franchise quarterback. That's going to be a big piece for this team. And with Kingsbury being here now, like he likes to run that that offense with a more mobile quarterback. So I think that's going to be leaning towards a little bit more towards that mobile quarterback like Daniel.
Yeah, no, it's going to be exciting to see what they do with the quarterback situation. Like, I'm not under the belief that they're fully sold on Aiden O'Connell being the guy for the future and to just build around him. But we'll see. Like, he still has a spot on the roster. Time will tell what he does with his development. But I'm all for bringing in another quarterback via the draft. Ideally, like, if we go free agency, so be it, whatever. But just something you said about not being more excited, like it's a new wave, the feeling that you got since McDaniels and that got the boot, and since we brought in AP. Like, I'm right there with you. Like, I got to be honest. Like, in my time as a Raider fan, during that McDaniels period, especially during going back as probably like the struggles from 2022, like midway through the season, since then to when he was booted out the door, that was probably and don't get me wrong, I will watch every Raider game week in, week out. But that was the least excited I was for Raider football. I didn't like the aura. I never liked the aura that these guys gave off and that we were playing under them. You know what I mean? And the fact of the mixed results and the players' discontent, even during the Dennis Allen days where we struggled, like I was more excited to see guys like, that team rather than like what we were doing under the McDaniels regime. But then when Antonio Pierce come in and brought that new energy, that new kind of attitude, like it was like, yes, I can feel that like more excitement now rather than like it was just like a cloud over my head. Like I'd watch every game, but it's just like I'm just not feeling this shit. You know what I mean? And
like
to feel otherwise again, it was a breath of fresh air. So I'm right there with you. I'm still riding the waves.
Yeah, like Telesco said, a team takes the identity of their head coach, and McDaniels was a joke, and that's why it was everything that we did. It was so disappointing to see because we knew what talent was on the team. We weren't seeing it, and to like I even told on 6, like it almost felt like it was a different season. As soon as McDaniels was gone, it was like, all right, we skipped everything. Poof, new season. AP's the coach now, and it was a totally different team. And it just goes to show, like he said, before you jumped on, that like he was referring to Kuntz. How McDaniels was giving Kuntz shit, and then under AP, Kuntz was shining. It just goes to show, what a head coach that really believes in you and puts you in a position to succeed and win, like what a difference it is as opposed to someone who thinks they know everything and they won't take no for an answer, so yeah.
No, Malcolm Kuntz is a good example of a guy who flourished under when Antonio Pierce took over, and like you could see that like in the first season and a bit, like he just seemed like a guy who was in McDaniel's doghouse and wasn't a guy he really believed in, especially that first year under his head coach. Because whenever you saw Malcolm Kuntz on the field, you could always see there was never a lack of effort on his behalf. Like you'd always see that motor. It's just he wasn't getting many snaps and many opportunities. It's just like, well, we've got guys getting more opportunities to doing a lot less and showing a lot less effort. Like, why isn't Malcolm Kuntz getting more of a look at? And then year 2, like, granted it was through circumstance, but like they were putting him in and out with Tyree Wilson. And then once Antonio Pierce took over, it's like he just took the ball and ran with it. And like, it's really good to see with Malcolm Kuntz. Like, he's a guy that I thought his ceiling would be like a decent rotational guy, no more. But like the way he's just trended upwards all of a sudden, starting from like midway through last season, like I see him being the guy we can have next to Max Crosby as our full-time starter. And he might be making bank if he keeps playing like he did last half of the season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he showed up. I think he got like 3 sacks in one game.
Right, and he finished off with 8 sacks when I think he might have only been at like 1, like come midway through the season. Like, my criticism for Kuntz was like, while I always noticed there was never a lack of effort. I just wish he would finish a little bit more
Yeah.
It was always kind of like the Arden Key effect, you know what I mean? Like he would almost get there, always be around, maybe put the pressure, but just not quite finish. But then
Yeah.
he learned to do that from halfway through the season when Antonio Pierce took over. He started to finish and come on. So very happy with where Malcolm Crooks is at.
Yeah, and like you said, AR, like as much as I wish we could have, Raider football this weekend, I'm totally excited, to see how everything's gonna play out with this team. I honestly think they're doing things the right way. AP, he's gonna get everything he can out of these guys, and now that we know Patrick Graham's here, the defense isn't gonna change. It's only gonna get better. Like I can't wait, man. I cannot wait.
Me too, CT. And another thing that goes underestimated, a lot of guys are coming out in this draft. AP knows him personally when he was in college. He recruited a lot of guys come out of high school. You know what I mean? And a lot of people that wanted to draft Jalen Daniels, AP coached with Herman Edwards over there at Arizona State before he transferred to LSU. So he knows him personally. You know what I mean? So that's why that connection, and you can just see what he did with Jack Jones that he coached in college. You know what I mean? Imagine what he can do with Jalen Daniels. It just, that's what I'm hyped up about. You know what I mean? If we're able to get this kid in here, you know what I mean? And the crazy thing about it, Jalen Daniels has been following AP the whole time he's been a Raider. You know what I mean? For the last couple of games, he's been showing up there. AP was on the sidelines, for a couple of his games. And man, I just really want this kid in here. I know a lot of Raider fans are worried about, he's from LSU. What happened the last time we drafted our quarterback from LSU? I don't want to hear that. I understand how much of a buzz Jamarcus Russell was, but it wasn't all on him. You know what I mean? It was on an organization as well. You know what I mean? But the times have changed. You know what I mean? I'm never going to draft another cornerback from Ohio State just what happened with Darion Conley and shit. You know what I mean? Fucking Damon Arnett. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? I'm never going to draft
another wide receiver from Alabama.
He runs. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That shit sucks. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? It's a whole new regime. You know what I mean? And the thing is, too, a lot of people don't know this, but Tom Coughlin built the Jaguars team from the early 2000s when they had Jalen Ramsey, Leonard Fournette. I think he was a GM or he had a fucking front office role with that team. So he was another key instrument. So that's another GM head coach that we have in there that knows what they're doing. And another thing about Tim Telesco that you were talking about, too, he knows what a franchise quarterback looks like and what he sees. You know what I mean? He was there when they drafted Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck. Was there when they fucking drafted Justin Herbert, where everybody's gonna say, "Well, why? Of course you're gonna draft Justin Herbert." If you guys go back, Justin Herbert was the third best quarterback in that draft class. Yeah. It was Herbert, Tua, and then it was Burrow, Tua, and then him. You know what I mean? He was the third quarterback drafted and shit. You know what I mean? So think about it. You know what I mean? Out of all of them, you can say him and Joe Burrow and him are doing best, and Tua's looking like whatever, but. You know what I mean? He was the third quarterback in that draft class. So he does have an eye for quarterbacks, and that's something that I do give Mark Davis applause for hiring him, because the last time we did hired a GM, the last couple of times, none of them had prior experience at all. None of them had to learn on the job, and this is the first time that he's knowing what he's doing. He just got fired not even a couple of weeks ago, so he's still – up to date with everything that's going on in the league, and he knows all the agents and everything.
Yeah, that's facts.
Especially too, the Chargers cut Khalil Mack. You know what I mean? If we can bring him back, even on the cheap deal, you know what I mean, just to put him in there.
They cut him already?
No, I'm saying if they cut him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean? It'd be nice to have him back over here. You know what I mean? Just you know what I mean? Bring out the 52 Mac jerseys from the closet. You know what I mean? It'd be nice.
Hey,
I'm still rocking mine on 6. You know.
I know.
Hey, that would be dope. He's still shown that he can be, like a presence, in the game. You know what I'm saying? So he still has that ability. As long as if he were to want to come back and he were to take a cheaper kind of deal, a couple of year kind of deal, like I'd be for it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Like you said, pull the whole jersey.
I usually don't entertain like to entertain hypothetical free agent moves and hiring guys on the other side of their careers, but I would gladly make an exception for Khalil Mack. It's no secret my love of the guy and what he did as a Raider. So yeah, it'd be nice to bring him.
Yeah, it would have been dope to keep him, but even if we would have paid him all that money that they had, it still wouldn't have made our defense any better. You know, if anything, they probably would have set us back even more. You know, because without that, I mean, we got Jacobs with those picks from the Bears. Who else did we get? I think
you don't want to know. You don't want to know.
Yeah, no one else really panned out.
But at the end of the day, I think Khalil Mack just holds a special place for us in our heart because those teams were not some of the best teams, and he was one of the players that, you know what I mean. He came in and was an All-Pro at 2 positions as a rookie, as a defensive linebacker. You know what I mean? But yeah, some people don't want to give him credit or say he wasn't good at all and shit. You know what I mean? Is their favorite player that year and shit. You know what I mean? So that thing's a little annoying. And just disappointing that people don't give him his credit and shit when he was one of the best Raiders defenders that we drafted and home grew him. You know what I mean? That we had in here.
Yeah. Well, who were we playing? The Panthers. That one time he intercepted it.
Yeah.
It was Cam Newton. I took it for the touchdown.
Right. Anybody who would have watched Raider football when he was around would have seen the guy as a gamer, a baller, a winner, a leader. You know what I mean? Like, and the caliber player he was when he was with us. Like, you know, I've had people like comparing him to Chandler Jones, saying Chandler Jones was a better player just by Google statting the sack count. I mean, tell me you didn't watch Raider football without telling me you didn't watch Raider football. If you'd have watched when he was around, he was a one-man wrecking ball, a one-man gang with little to no support. And at one point, he was in the conversation with the likes of Aaron Donald, J.J. Watt, and the rest of the top tier. What was it, Von Miller as well, and another guy who was in that conversation as being the best in the league on the defensive side of the ball. Chandler Jones was never in that conversation, and once again, it makes me think, like, did you even watch Raider football, or you just Google statting? And I'm guessing it's the latter. You know what I'm saying? But you know, let's see what happens at free agency. I mean, it probably won't happen, but if it did, I'd be all for it.
Hey, like Richard Lyon said, I'd be down for a cheap Mac deal. I would. I'd be more than happy if he wanted to come back and put in that work and that silver and black and retire a Raider and everything like that. And he's willing to take a cheaper deal to do it. You know, I'd be all for it. You know, I would. Who better?
We'll see. Probably won't happen, but we'll see.
Then, you know, another Buffalo University, you know, legend. I think that'd be dope.
For him to learn their Tyree Wilson, for actually learn from an actual pro, unlike the moron Chandler Jones, that somebody said that he's a Hall of Famer, but Khalil Mack is not. Just the stupidity of some YouTubers that are out here and shit, it just amazes me and shit. You know what I mean? Some of them that predict the future, or when Josh McDaniels, it's just funny. For 2.5 years, they were shoving Josh McDaniels down their throat. He gets fired, AP gets hired, and they want to say, oh, yeah, me and my buddy had a conversation. He was one of our dark horse candidates to fucking get hired. And then they're like, Jim Harbaugh the whole time. And over here talking about Jim Harbaugh's dick. When he whips it out, it reaches from one end of the desk to the other and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, did you see it personally, dude? Or what the fuck are you talking about a grown man's penis and shit, dog? But I don't know, dog. And now that AP got hired and shit, oh yeah, I want AP the whole time and shit. Like, you're the biggest flip floppers in this world, bro. It just amazes me and just pisses me off, CT, that if you have an opinion, just stand on it. You know what I mean?
No, facts.
Overall, man, and shit. Don't be fucking saying beginning of the year that we need to fucking get rid of Jacobs and bring in Jonathan Taylor, or fucking get rid of fucking Jacobs and put Sincere and Amir in here.
Bro, I know exactly what you mean, because I've called out, you know, other YouTube content creators for saying Jimmy Garoppolo wasn't going to lead the league in interceptions, and by week 9 he was leading the league and he even missed 3 games. So I even said it before the season even started. So I mean, you know what I'm saying? I stand on what I say all the time. You know, 10 toes on the ground like a touchdown, always. I mean, I stay on it. If I say it, I'll stay on it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, you know, but at least I know I stand on my word, you know. I always keep
there's nothing wrong with coming out and admitting that you're wrong. I mean,
there ain't nothing wrong.
I've been wrong about many things. I'm never going to be 100% right when it comes to my opinions. You know what I mean? Like, I've done plenty of things wrong. I've been happy to admit it. Like, when it's to the benefit of the Raiders, like, cool. Like, it's good to be wrong about things that you weren't so sure. Like, I mean, for example, Patrick Graham. I was dead wrong about him and
Yeah, we are.
and what he was bringing to the defense, and I was more than happy to admit that. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, I got to get going because my dogs are hounding me to try and give them
Yeah,
proper
my
work. So
dogs are barking
thanks
in
for having
the
me on,
background
CT.
too.
I appreciate you,
Hey,
brother.
I appreciate you,
Thanks,
AR.
my
Thank
guy.
you. Enjoy
We'll
enjoy
talk
your
more behind the
lovely day
scenes,
over
and,
there.
yeah, it's a beautiful day to be a Raider, as you can see, and I look forward to the rest of the off-season process. So,
Yep. Hope to have
let's
you
just wait
on
and see.
again soon, brother.
All
Have a
right,
good one.
peace,
one,
chat.
man.
All right, take care, man.
Hit me up, AR. I'm doing good. God bless.
No, but I know I feel exactly like what AR was trying to say. You know, if everything we do, you know, like as content creators, it's all opinion. You know,
Yeah.
like none of us have that inside scoop. None of us,
Yeah.
you know what the players are thinking and saying. None of us know what Mark Davis is gonna do, you know,
For real.
but when I say something and I stand on it and it ends up being true, it kind of makes me feel like maybe kind of feel like I know what I'm talking about a little bit, you know. So I mean, you
No,
know, I look at the game a different way. You know, I don't just see, you know, the ball being passed and first downs and stuff like that. Most of the time I'm calling fouls before they're even, you know, pronounced and all that kind of stuff. So I love the game. You know, I love the game. I used to play and I played flag football for a bit and
Yeah.
never got to play with pads on because I had heart surgery twice, but like that was always my dream, man. I always wanted to play with pads and get that crunch and all that stuff, you know. But I love the game. I love the game, and I appreciate it, you know. So
you know what I mean? I love football, bro. You know what I mean? I never really got to pay high school or anything because I was stupid. I was here teaching women doing stupid shit, but that's another story for another day. CT. But at the end of the day, bro, I'm just happy and excited, bro. Because at the end of the day, I'm just tired of just people saying they're Raider fans but don't know anything and gotta fake the funk or they gotta jump on Pro Football Focus and get reference and shit or make little videos. You don't gotta like to kick it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you don't know shit about the past, then don't talk about it. You know what I mean? It's just funny. You know what I mean? The other day, I'm over here watching Raiders YouTube, and they're talking about previous Raiders defensive tackles and shit. And there's a Raiders YouTuber over here saying C.L. Moore used to play defensive tackle for us. When did C.L. Moore ever play defensive tackle for us, bro?
oh, linebacker.
You kidding me and shit? He used to play a linebacker for us and shit. But yet you're over here on fucking TV trying to say, oh yeah, he played defensive tackle for us. Like, what the fuck? Get the hell out of here, bro. It just pisses me off. Like, you ain't gotta like kick it. You ain't gotta like you're hard or tough. Just be yourself. You know what I mean? If you started being a fan this year, well, you say, hey, you know what? I don't know that much about the past. You know, I've just been a fan for this year. You know what I mean? But don't be out here fucking trying to talk shit to us or real Raider fans that have been watching this team for fucking. I've been watching this team since 1998. You know what I mean? Since Woodson got drafted, I've been watching this team for a long time. You know what I mean? But you ain't gonna come to me and talk to me about the Raiders during that time when you clearly don't know shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And try to say I'm a fake fan and not this and that. You know, I'm just not taking that shit.
Yeah, no, that's facts, bro. And I'll even always admit when I'm wrong, but that's one thing that I don't do as a content creator. Like, I'll watch some other people's videos. You know, I don't watch everybody else's videos, but I'll watch some other people's videos. But I never take what I'm gonna say out of what they say. You know,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like, okay, 3 people said this, so it must be true. So I'm gonna say it. Like, nah, fuck all that. You know, if anything, I'd rather be that one that stands out and says, yeah, no, that's not how I feel at all. You know, so it's always my opinion. I keep it real, you know, and like I said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. We ain't professionals. It's all our opinion anyway. You know,
No,
but
for real. And then there's a certain one too that thinks just because he has a master's degree that he's better than everyone on Raiders YouTube and shit. Like, what does you having a master's degree got to do with anything football related or anything? You know what I mean? It doesn't give your opinion more validation than mine or yours and shit. You know what I mean? Or just
That's
because
right.
you run $1 million corporation, what does that got to do with anything at all and shit? You know what I mean? That's the shit that pisses me off. But yeah, you're saying I'm a fake fan and shit when you're the one fucking sucking Josh McDaniels' dick for 2.5 years, saying, "Oh, Josh McDaniels has 22 excuses, 11 on offense, 11 on defense." When he's the one that brought in all these players, all these coaches, he's the one that brought everything here. But yet you were the one making excuses for him for almost a year and a half and shit, dog. Like, get the fuck out of here, dog.
hey, that's one thing I won't never do because, like you said, like I won't call them like, you know, bandwagon fans or whatever, you know, but maybe there's some people just learning about football. maybe you know, like they barely got into it and now they like the Raiders or whatever. You know, so I'll never knock like new fans or anything like that. You know, like
No,
fuck
I'm not
it. You know, like you know, like
I'm just talking
anybody
about
wants to be a fan. You know, but yeah,
no.
yeah.
But
If exactly
I
like
just
how you were saying though.
no, I say I'm just annoyed more. Supposedly, if you've been a fan for years, just go ahead, bro. But if you haven't been a fan or you're trying to tag me saying I'm not a real fan, that's where I have an issue. If you're a new fan of it, yeah, go ahead. Welcome to the nation, bro. You know, I'll support you. Have any questions, I'll reach out to me, you know, or whatever, bro. But don't come over here saying I'm a fake fan. I don't know what I'm talking about and shit. That when you clearly don't. That's what I have an issue with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. Is I won't ever call anybody like you ain't no real fan. You know, and
Yeah,
like I've heard other YouTube, you know, content creators, Raider content creators say that, oh, you don't support this person, like you're no real Raiders fan. Like you don't support this. Like if you don't agree with this, if you don't agree with me, you ain't a real Raiders fan. Like, bro, like you probably get paid to do what you do, and you got a
yeah,
whole fucking, you know, team behind you that gets all your fucking information for you and puts it on the screen for you to read it off a teleprompter. Like, miss me with that bullshit. You know, I actually know what the fuck I'm talking about. Been a Raider fan, like you said, since before I could even remember, like, you know, what the game was. You know, I just remember Raider games. My dad, you know, like everything. Like my dad was a Raider fan. I was born into it. You know, I lived in Whittier when they played right there at the Coliseum. You know,
yeah.
so it's just in me. You know, it's in my blood. You know, it's always been a part of who I am and family and everything like that. You know, so but I'll never fucking say that someone's not a real fan for whatever. You know, I think that's just fucking, you know, it is what it is. I'll
No,
never cross that line.
no, I hear you, brother. But after that, I'm gonna get out of here, JT. I'm gonna get some
Yeah.
food and call it a night, brother. You know, what I mean, it's
Hey,
been a long day. I worked 10 hours and shit. Just want to get on here and show you some love, dog. Since you
man,
jumped
I
on the show,
appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you for real.
everyone in the chat. You know what I mean? Hopefully, this offseason is really interesting and we make all the right moves so we can get to the playoffs. So, CT, thanks for having me on. Shout out to the chat. I'm out.
Hey, salute, brother. Thank you.
Of course, bro.
Hey, y'all. This has been a good one. We're going on 2 hours, man. Thank you guys, everybody in the chat. Richard, Dark Raider Podcast, John, Aunt Six, thank you for showing up, man. Rafa was on here, AR was on here. You know, if you guys don't follow them, Afakasi Raider on YouTube. Rafa, I can't pronounce his shit. The Al Capitan Rafucho. I think I got it. Sorry, Rafa, if I fucking butchered that. But go give him a follow. You know, Aunt Six, catch him on AR Show. Thank you guys, everybody that you know showed up on the chat and everybody that showed up on the show. I appreciate you guys, and we're gonna keep getting into this, man. We got our staff, we got our offensive coordinator, Patrick Gramstein, Champ Kelly's still here. AP's our guy. We got our new GM. Now let's look forward to free agency. Let's look towards the offseason. Not looking towards the Super Bowl because I ain't trying to see all that red in my house. But you know, if it's a tie, hopefully it could be a tie. If the power could go out, hopefully the power could go out. Whatever happens, you know, maybe they can't use the stadium. They got to play outside and no one can watch them. I don't care. Anything could happen. I don't want to see them in our stadium, you know. But as for everybody that's been here, man, I appreciate you guys so much. Don't forget to hit that like if you enjoyed the show. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe, share the video. Once again, Raider Nation, keep doing what you love what you do. I am CT De Niro, RealMen R Raiders Podcast. I appreciate y'all, and I'm out. Peace.
Just win, baby.